The difference between thinking about things and not is kind of like the difference between using a metaphor for something and actually describing it. When someone says, "Oh, that was the worst stomach ache. It felt like a horse was trampling me." You don't think about a horse trampling that person normally, but you understand the metaphor. But there is a definite difference. Structures in nature build off of their previous move. And so thinking about even what you say as yourself will create stable platforms that can be used as new progress points in the development of your journey. Just try it. I'm going to repeat the same phrase twice. The first time, don't think about it. The second time, really think about what the words mean. Just think about it. You know how. I know sometimes thinking is an abstract concept and it's hard to actually describe and talk about, but try listening to this phrase. I know what it is. I know what it is. Now, awareness is objectifiable in the sense that to be aware can be described as a relevant progress point between the ongoing development of self and nature or the universe. So, how does this work? Well, the thoughts that you have are part of awareness. But it's the awareness that actually shows you that you're awake. It's not the alarm clock, it's the feeling you get when you hear the alarm clock. So reality is in a constant flux, yet our image of it is stable and unchanging. So the landscape by which we connect with the universe exists not in our eyeballs, not in our ears, but in our minds. Our ears and our eyes are tools to observe a certain bandwidth of vibration. But there's so much more out there. So we keep it relevant with our language in order that we may wake up, achieve higher levels of awareness, which in its most objectifiable form is an infinitely divisible field, non-local to the physical world, and influences the physical world. You can't find awareness by searching for a spot on Earth. You can't find awareness by looking through a magnifying glass. Awareness lies dormant within ourselves. We have been dulled by modern culture, economy, into a half sleep. But awareness is always good. In an everyday situation, awareness is used as a key that unlocks information and understanding. Now, a healthy human diet consists of vitamins, minerals, food from the food pyramid, so on and so forth, and information. The mind-brain system gets healthier when it's used. How do you use the mind-brain system? You learn, you understand, you gather information. And so the participation in this process unlocks different things. We can call them things. What are these things? It's hard to explain, but go back to if you think about it versus if you don't. Keep trying that. You will notice a difference, and then you will understand the key and how it unlocks different parts of reality. When I was in my early 20s, I had an experience where I laid down in my bed and sat there and was like chewing a little bit on the tip of my tongue. Just felt kind of nice. And with enough imagination, because I like to sort of coax my imagination, I was able to make it feel like I was chewing all the way through my tongue. And these colors kind of just appeared. You know, I've had many experiences involving these colors that are hyperdescent is the word I use sometimes, but they're neon, kind of. Like imagine a neon light, but there's no housing for it. You know what I mean? And sometimes they were of objects, sometimes they were just splotches. Awareness is key. Self awareness. Is this good for me? Am I harming anyone? But I went down the rabbit hole, and some people do. Now, with the use of psychedelics and practice of meditation or spiritual development or general curiosity and interest in the universe, one can have these kinds of experiences. Hallucinations that have different meanings to different people in different situations. I believe that you can have them without psychedelics. And I know people do, but I believe that every person can coax themselves into a spiritual experience. And that's what you call it when the clock lines up and the birds are chirping and you're seeing something that is more vivid than anything you could imagine. Or you meet an entity, or you just realize a bunch of stuff. Boom, 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 boom. It seems like a spiritual experience. Look around. Listen. Think. What does it mean to think? Where is my mind? Where is the mind? When we think, do we just mean the inner voice in our head that talks about what's going on throughout the day? Do people think in abstract ways that are non-linguistic? Yes. And that's a good thing, because language is a human tool. It's natural. It's a mirror of the languages that nature uses in a way, but nature has more of an action-based language. It's more of a... Words are symbols. I talk about this a lot, but words and what they mean to you differentiate between whether or not someone's talking about kissing the sky or kissing this guy. I believe that frame of reference is key. Find yourself, accept yourself, figure out who you are first. Love that person and change what needs to be changed to reduce suffering. Find the harmonics. Focus your awareness on the harmonics. And let things be. Nature has a way of knowing what to do. Why do you think roses grow out of the cracks in the cement? Nature has a way. No need to control. Be connected to something. Or be connected to nothing at all. But watch. This universe was built for us. We are the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae. The living beings. Why wouldn't the creatures of the world that created them be its gestalt? Is that the word that I need to say, that I should say? I think that's the word that I want to use. Gestalt. I'm going to look that up after this video. Be in such a way that you know at the end of the day, it's not your fault if something goes wrong. Be in such a way that when people bring up the things that you say and do, you are having no room for doubt or no room for questioning. You know what I mean? The person that you want to be and who you are, the person you can be is someone who acts in such a way that is simply good, because good is structurally sound, and there's no fear of self. There's no connection between how can this be harmful and reality, to put it bluntly. You know what I mean? If you're living in such a way that it would take a 180 turn to imply that what you're doing is wrong, you must be doing something right. And it's like a carpenter who measures twice and cuts once. Measure twice. The world is in constant flux because all levels are connected. When a net is folded over itself and pulled through, what you have is a particle. When a web that is folded around an orb is completely hyperbolic, there are areas of self-interaction that create high-level patterning. If you could pull a fishing net through itself, what you would see is that the spots that interact remain and everything else is pulled away. This is the nature of the universe. Fluctuation leads to interactions between fluctuations. And those interactions cause changes that go back down to the level of fluctuation and existence and are then transformed into new behaviors. Therefore, they're sent back up to the connected part of these, behaviors that have interacted. And through this whole chain is created a structure that goes beyond the physical world from within it. Electromagnetic field self-interacts to the point where the radiation is propagating at 420 nanometers. The color purple is perceived. You shine two purple flashlights at each other, you get a saturation. Purple being saturated goes down into the field of electromagnetic radiation and it realizes a new parameter. As far as I'm aware, there's a 7-level system. And about level 5, you go beyond the physical world. So, if this is a law of nature, if this is a law of reality, the way this net functions, in theory, science will be able to describe psychedelic experiences, spiritual experiences. Humanity has a long way to go morally before we're there for everyone. I will continue to watch and listen. Anticipating the purplest hues.